Good afternoon, teachers. So the participants are just 19. So inform your teacher friends to participate as soon as possible. It's already 10 minutes over. So you know that in every Friday, Shikshana Sambrama regarding English will be at 2:30. So near maximum 200 teachers has to join, but only 22 participants are there. Please inform as soon as possible. So this is an Shikshana Sambrama of language English. It's you all know that it's based on the LOs of DSCRT and NAS LOs. So it's an activity based module. It's from 4th to 7th standard. So please note down if you have any doubt regarding this sessions, or if you want any suggestions regarding this, and if you inform us so that we can go ahead according to you. Now it's over to CWC. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Banu, shall we start the session or shall we wait for the teachers?
No, Vishruja ma'am, you can start the session.
Thank you, Banu. Good afternoon, teachers. So welcome to today's English webinar. So today we are going with the module 5. So we have already completed with module 4 with different activities related to experiential learning strategy. So today let's see some of the activities which belongs to grade 4 to 7 as ma'am already told us. So we'll welcome you for the session and we can start now.
So to start with, we will start with the objectives of the learning cycle. So the first objective is to understand the ease and effectiveness of teaching English experientially in the classrooms, to access meticulously curated resources, and to help them implement experiential language teaching. Discuss strategies to address the skills of listening, speaking, reading, writing, and thinking. And lastly, to address the grade-specific DSCRT learning outcomes and the low-achieved PARAC learning outcome to help learners achieve the skills to perform better in the next PARAC exam. So what are the outcomes that we are looking at this learning cycle are: enhance our subject matter expertise and pedagogical understanding of teaching English experientially, use experiential resources to teach English in our classrooms, implement experiential language teaching strategies, modify existing experiential resources and create customized experiential resources for contextual teaching needs. Just like every other month, we have a theme for this month too. This month's theme would be reflection within and between the learners who are learning. We will be looking at the chapters Art, If I Could Fly, which is a poem, and Farming, Farmer and His Friends. And also for the 5th grade, we'll be looking at Results and Roses, which is a poem, and A Great Coachman, which is prose. The project-based learning modules for the farming chapter is rhyming words. And for the great coachman, the concept that we will be exploring is prepositions. Similarly, in grade 6 and 7, where there is a will, there is a way. And the way to succeed is from grade 6. And from grade 7, we have Journey to the Top, which is the prose, and Mountain Climbing, which is the poem. Let's look at the learning outcomes for the month. Okay, for grade 4, we have enacts different roles in short skits, responds to simple instructions, announcements in English made in class, participates in activities in English like role play, group discussion, and debate, recites and shares poems, songs, jokes, riddles, tongue twisters, etc. Refers to dictionary to check meaning and spelling and to suggested websites for information. Similarly, for grade 5, we're looking at meaningful grammatical correct sentences, answer coherently in written or oral form to questions, connecting ideas that have been inferred through reading and interaction, and reciting and sharing English songs and poems. Grade 6 also has similar objectives, which is response verbally or in writing in English to questions based on day-to-day experiences, an article, story, or poem heard or read. And they respond to simple instructions or announcements made in English that could be made in class or in school. It uses dictionaries to find spelling and meaning. For grade 7, we have answers to questions orally and in writing on a variety of subtexts, then refers to dictionary, thesaurus, and encyclopedia to find meanings and spellings of words while reading and writing. Responds verbally or in writing in English to questions based on day-to-day life experiences, an article, story, or poem heard or read. Responds to simple instructions and announcements in English made in class or in school. And lastly, infer the meaning of unfamiliar words by reading them in context. We will be looking at the NAS or PARAC learning outcomes. For LPS, it would be reads text with comprehension, locates details and sequence of events. And for HPS, it is reads textual or non-textual materials with comprehension and identifies the details, characters, main idea, and sequence of ideas and events while reading.
So let's go into detail. So with the grade 4, just now we got to know what are the learning outcomes we can map to the activities presenting today. So for grade 4, these are the learning outcomes we can concentrate in order to map for the activities. So coming to the classroom transaction activity 1. So we have considered a chapter called art, which is a unit here. So these are the divisions where we can find in the art chapter. So we'll be dealing with the art along with the language learning. So art can be achieved through some of the strategies like clay modeling. So using the clay modeling, we can bring in the listen and response skills to develop with the language. Similarly, using the dance strategy, we can use identifying the colors activity, and also with respect to the music and musical instruments, which is another strategy of the art, we can concentrate on the common nouns concept. So as we saw in the concept map, today we are taking with the music and musical instrument. So here the activity is like sounds like fun. So the objective of this activity is the musical instruments as well as to identify the common names for the people who play specific instruments. So first of all, we have to introduce the different musical instruments available to the children in the class. For example, we can show the picture which has been given here. We have to tell them like what each instrument is known as. So along with the sounds they produce as well. So we can have here, we have a drum, we have a guitar, we have a violin. So after that, we can also make sure that the children can know what the sound they make. For example, drum makes sound like. Similarly, a guitar will make it. Similarly, a guitar will make a sound like. Similarly, a violin will make a sound like. Similarly, a violin will make a sound like. Similarly, a drum 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 will make a so And also we can say that this musical instrument is known as tabla and it makes a sound like. So once we introduce the musical instruments, what they are known as well as what kind of sound they make, so we can continue with this game. So as we know, we have introduced 5 different musical instruments in this activity. So we can prepare a picture like or a flashcard, and we can divide the children into different groups, and we can give those flashcards to the groups and ask them to observe the flashcards clearly. Once this is done, we have to present the pictures or present the flashcards. So if, for example, if the group 1 gets a picture drum, so we have to ask the group what is that particular musical instrument is known as for. Then if they could able to answer, this is called as drum. Then there should be another question. Then who is the person or who is responsible for playing this drum, what he is known as. Then we can say, so he is called as drummer. Similarly, if we show the picture or the flashcard of guitar, we have to ask what is the person called who plays guitar. So the children should know he is known as guitarist. Similarly, for the person who plays violin is known as violinist. Who plays flute is called as flutist, and who plays tabla is known as tabla artist. So this is how we can make sure that we are introducing the people who plays different musical instruments are known as. And at the last, we can say that the different names given to these people are the examples for the common nouns. So as teachers, these are some of the examples we have taken to introduce the common nouns, and we can use the same similar strategy to the other examples as well. So we can also provide some opportunity to take a platform or to reflect the learning which from the children. So these are some of the ideas what different types of questions can be asked in our classrooms. So from the activity what we conducted just now. So we can ask the question like name the different colors that various instruments they saw have. Similarly, we can ask them whether they have noticed that different instruments which are played in different occasions, what are they known as, and also name some occasions and the instruments played there apart from the instruments they saw in the recent activity. So that's all about with the classroom and transaction activity 1. Now let's move to the classroom transaction activity 2. So this is for the grade 5 learners. The previous activity we can concentrate for the grade 4 learners. So these are some of the grade 5 learning outcomes. We just made a note of the learning outcomes in the very beginning of the session, like which can be mapped to the following activities presenting now. So here we are choosing with a chapter, Results and Roses from the grade 5. So we can have a language learning skills along with the values over here. So through this chapter, we can concentrate on the rhyming words concepts for the language learning. Similarly, the values called hard work. Okay. So this activity is known as Shuffle the Shuffled, and the objectives of this activity is to rearrange the letters to form meaningful words. So as we know, so the children of the grades 4 and 5 needs more attention for framing the meaningful words from the letters by recognizing the letters, and also to know the meaning of the words they could able to recognize. Hence, this can be a good activity to be transacted in the classroom. So the activities will be very simple and it's easy to transact in the classroom. So as we see in this picture or the image, so we have different letters with the flashcards. You can see the flashcards which consist of different letters. So for example, if we have a flashcards which is already prepared from A to Z like this, we can choose some of the letters. So as an example, we have taken here the letters like T, X, P, R, E, H, Z, W, U, N, V, D, F, and K. So the game should begin like this. So we have to identify one student among the class, like from the class, as a finder. So one student will be nominated as a finder. The remaining children can have these flashcards in their hands. And when the children are displaying, the other children are displaying these flashcards, we have to instruct the finder to frame some of the words using these jumbled or the shuffled letters the children are showing. So the finder, for example, he could find some of the words like, so if we ask him to find one 4-letter word, he can take T, R, U, E, and he can say that I found a word true. Similarly, if we ask him to find some 5-letter word, then he can take T, R, U, N, K, and he can say that I found a word trunk. Same way, if I ask to find another word, he can come up with R, E, N, T, and he can say I found a word rent. Then finally, we can also ask him, then can you go for a little complicated word? Can you find a 6-letter word from this? Then he can have an example of H, U, N, T, E, R, which gives him a word hunter. So similarly, teachers, so can you people try out like finding 1 or 2 words from these letters, what has been displayed in the slides, and we can have it in the chat box. I request the teachers to find some words, whether it is a 4-letter word, 5-letter word, 6-letter word, apart from the 4 words which we have already displayed. The finder which already found. Like he could able to found 4 words, that is true, rent, trunk, and hunter. Apart from these 4 words, any other words? We request you to post it in the chat box. Any teachers? Yes. Hen. Yes, sir. I think Prasanna, sir. H-E-N. Yes, sir. Exactly. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, dent. From Sarla ma'am, dent, D-E-N-T. Shakuntala ma'am saying pure, P-U-R-E. Great ma'am. Great, sir. Yes. So similarly, we can ask the children in our classrooms also to find few more words. So the founder said that he could able to find now 4 words. That's true, trunk, rent, and hunter. And thank you for the teachers for your answers in the chat box. So yes, free also someone, Ramabai teacher and Shakuntala ma'am is saying free we can find went. Yes, yes, exactly. So we can also continue the same activity for making a meaningful sentences from the jumbled words we can give. For example, so now the finder already have 4 words with him, right? The true, trunk, hunter, and rent. So we can ask him, using these 4 words, can he frame any meaningful simple sentence? And we can give an example for these words what he have already. Like one of the example we can give it as like, A true hunter will pay rent to the tree for its trunk. So he is using all the 4 words what he found in a simple sentence. So similarly, teachers, this is a sentence which he could able to frame. This is an example. He can find any other sentence as well. So if we give some other words apart from the words what he already have, like this. So sweet, alien, ate, and Ramu. So can we help, the teachers can help finder to frame one sentence now? I request the teachers to help finder to frame a simple sentence using these 4 words. You can post your answers in the chat box, teachers. Great. So for the previous thing, sir said like Vasanta Lakshmi ma'am is giving a sentence like one day hunter went to the forest. Yes, ma'am. Using a hunter word, we can do that. Yes. Similarly, can we frame some sentences using these 4 words which are seen on the presentation slide now? We can make use sweet, alien, Ramu, ate. Any sentence, simple sentence, we can help finder to do that. Yeah. So Vedavati ma'am is saying that Ramu ate sweet alien. Yeah. Exactly, ma'am. Alien toy. Yeah. So Vasant Lakshmi ma'am saying she used 8 word and she's making a sentence. I ate banana. Yes, ma'am. Can we make use of all the 4 words available here to make one simple sentence? Any other answers from the teachers? Okay. Vasant Lakshmi ma'am is also saying like Ramu ate sweet dish. Exactly, ma'am. You made all the 3 words. So alien is missing. That's it. But thank you for your answers. Okay. Shivarajama ma'am is saying that Ramu ate sweet. Yes, correct, ma'am. Okay. So thank you, teachers. Thank you for your responses. Yes, the child can do all these sentences using one or 3 words here, but when you want to combine all the 4 words to make one simple sentence, here we have one example. He can do this. Ramu and the alien ate sweets together. Probably I don't know whether this is possible or not, but we can imagine that if alien is with him, Ramu and alien ate sweets together. Yes. Thank you. So this is one of the activity we could see for the grade 5.
Okay, so now on to the next activity, classroom transaction 3. We will be looking at the activity which has the concept map. Okay, so the chapter is called A Great Coachman, and this chapter has the concepts of the Great Coachman. And under language specifically, we'll be looking at prepositions, and under comprehension, we're looking at role models. Okay, let's start with the first activity, which objective is to use prepositions and frame sentences while playing a game. So you can have a tray of objects that you can present before the children. So on the tray, you can arrange all the objects in a particular manner in rows so that it's easy for you to later use it for the activity for prepositions. So once the students have looked at the objects, you then shuffle the objects. You move the objects around so that the objects have changed their position from where they were earlier. Now, you can quiz the students. You can ask them what was the arrangement before I shuffled and what was the arrangement after I shuffled. Like for example, you can use the pen is in between the ball and the flower pot, but it is in between the ball and the ruler earlier. So similarly, you can do the other sentences. The eraser is in. Would teachers like to give us a few answers about where they think the position of the eraser is? You can put down your responses in the chat box. The eraser is in dash, the water bottle, and the book. But it was dash.
We request you teachers to place your answers in the chat box. So first we have to see after reshuffling where is the position of that particular object. So where is the eraser now? So before where it is. So the first blank will be filled with the after shuffling whatever that we can see, and the second blank will be filled with before shuffling. Yes. Between. First one is between. The eraser is between the water bottle and the book. Yes, ma'am, it's correct. Earlier, but it was, ma'am, your answer is correct. The eraser is between the water bottle and the book now, but it was, what was its earlier position? Can we fill the blank? Any of the other teachers? Yes, ma'am. So Saubhagya ma'am is giving an answer. It was between scale and water bottle. Exactly, ma'am. Right. So similarly, teachers, can we try for the third one and fourth one? With a suitable preposition? The toy is dashed to the pencil. This you have to look for the afterwards, after the shuffle. And earlier it was, but it was dash. Which preposition will be more suitable here? Yes. Okay. Saubhagya ma'am is saying next. Okay. Sarla ma'am is saying near. Okay. So yes, ma'am. Correct. So we can also use a preposition like beside here. I can say that the toy is beside to the pencil, but it was beside to ball or beacon. Similarly, also make the children will be filling the blanks similar manner. Some set of filling them to fill positions through this game.
Here are a few reflective questions that we can ask for this activity. Reflective questions are questions that you can ask to help the child think more about the topic that they are discussing. For example, you can say, can you use the proper prepositions to give everyone here an idea of how your house looks like? Or, what do you think you will have to do to help us imagine your house? What words apart from prepositions would you have to use? Which are the prepositions that you think you will have to use more than once? And lastly, can you substitute using prepositions and use other kind of words to fulfill the same goal?
Moving classroom activity, which is for grade 6 learners. These are some of the learning outcomes which can be mapped to the activities we can see further. So the activity is all about from the chapter where there is a will, there is a way. So this is the concept map we can see. So we can cover some of the concepts, and also we can make sure the children will be using a dictionary to learn the new vocabulary along with the language learning takes place. So we can cover the concepts through the empathy towards the differently able children as well. And also we are using a dictionary for the comprehension purpose, and we can make sure the language learning is happening, and we can take the concept of adverbs. And in this activity as well, we are taking the concept of adverbs and conjunctions. So first activity, what we are seeing is for the adverbs of frequency. So the very first objective of this is to introduce the adverbs of frequency. So this is also just like a game. We can make sure that it will happen between two teams of the classroom. So before that, we have to divide the entire classroom, that is the children, into two teams, that is team A and team B. And we have to make two paper balls as shown here and give each paper ball to each team. So now coming to we can see here we have some of the adverbs list. So we have your never, often, rarely, usually, sometimes, and always. So we can write this list on one corner of the blackboard before we start playing the game. And also we can make some preparations here. So the two teams, we can ask the two teams, and also the children who belongs to two teams, we have to instruct them to take a chit of paper and ask their favorite, to write the favorite food item in the chits and to put it into the bowl which has been given here. Once this is done, so we can continue the activity by reading out all the chits the children have written, and we can see these are the some of the might be some of the examples of the food items they have chosen or selected. We have to write all these names of the food items in the into the on the blackboard. We have to write all these names on the blackboard with a space provided, just the in the manner which is shown here. Then we should also write one of the sentence which is given here as a fill in the blank. I dash eat dash for breakfast or lunch or dinner, which is provided, which are given in the brackets in the into on the blackboard. Then ask one player from the team A to come forward and take a paper ball, and they have to select one of the food item which is shown on the or written on the blackboard, and they have to put that paper ball onto that particular food item. Once the child has selected the item, for example, if the child, any child selected pizza, then we have to ask the child to fill that, fill in the blank, whatever we have given, using the food item they select. For example, I dash eat dash for breakfast or lunch or dinner. Now the food item they have selected is pizza, and also on one corner of the blackboard, they know that they have a adverbs of frequency list. For example, we have often, rarely, regular, all these things. So then the child should select one of the frequency of adverb there and fill here. So for example, I rarely eat pizza for breakfast, lunch, dinner. It is their wish. Similarly, we have to give this chance to the next child. So the child from the next team come forward, select the food item by throwing their paper ball onto the board. Then if that particular child get chapati as the selection, then we have to ask the child to fill the blank similarly. The child might do like this. I often eat chapati for breakfast, or I often eat chapati for lunch. Similarly, we can provide this opportunity to each and every child who belongs to different teams. So this is how they can practice how to use the adverbs of frequencies in their daily life. Yes. For this particular activity, we can also provide some of the reflective questions. So some of the examples are what is the significance of set of words they are using here in the previous activity, whatever we are conducting. So they can come up with adverbs of frequency as an answer. Similarly, we can ask them, do you think they have a pattern? So did they follow any pattern when they are filling that fill in the blank? And also they can ask them, do you think they belong to any particular group when they are placing those words? So we can make sure that the adverbs of frequency is actually making use. And also we have to say that what do you think are the relationship between the words that we use to the verbs in the sentences. So we can have a connectivity between the concept like verbs and the adverbs if we wish to. Similarly, have you come across adverbs somewhere else apart from this activity? And if they say yes, we can ask them to define what adverbs could be as well. So this is classroom transaction activity 5, teachers, and this is a very simple activity where we concentrate to make sure the children know about the conjunctions, especially about 2 conjunctions as of now, because they're already done with the activity of adverbs of frequency. So for grade 6 children or learners, we can make sure that they'll be very perfect in using 2 conjunctions, that is and but. So we can frame some paragraphs with the fill in the blanks like this, which is shown in the screen. So we have taken one particular paragraph, which is called mystery words paragraph. So we have 4-liner paragraph here, and it has some of the fill in the blanks. And we should we should instruct the children to complete this paragraph, that is to fill the blanks using only and or but conjunctions. So for example, if we give this and ask them to fill and if we give them some 5 minutes, they might come with this answers. So Sudha loves summer vacation, but Vidya wishes she was still back in school, because they know they are contrast sentences. Similarly, this summer they are going to the beach. Vidya can't wait to play in the waves, and Sudha wants to build sandcastles. Both activities will make them very dirty, but they don't care. Again, it's a contrast. Vidya will go and take a hot bath, but Sudha prefers a cold water bath, because again, it's a contrast. At the end of the day, both Sudha and Vidya will be clean and happy. So this is how we can make practice for the children to use these words into different paragraphs. So this is one example. Like this, you can make sure that you will take up some paragraphs from the textbooks or from other sources, and we can make sure the children are completing the fill in the blanks using these conjunctions. Some of the reflections for this activity can be like this. So we can ask, what role do you think the words we are filling like and but play in the sentences? And also we can ask that to find some paragraph from your sentences where you have ands and buts. Now you remove all those ands and buts from that sentence and try reading it. So will you make any meaningful sentences as it was earlier? Similarly, we can also ask like to reflect on that. When they remove that ands and buts, what happens? What do you think will happen? And what is the major difference between without having and with having those words in a paragraph? Similarly, we can conclude by asking like, then what do you think are conjunctions and what role do you think they play in a sentence? So teachers, these are only some of the examples we are giving here as the reflective questions which can be like taken in the classrooms. Apart from these, we'll have n number of ideas and those things also can be taken.
Okay, moving on to classroom transaction activity 6. We're looking at activity for grade 6, which takes care of these following learning objectives, which are displayed on the screen. The concept map is for journey to the top. This can be looked at in 2 ways, language and skills. Language is further divided into vocabulary building and prefix and relative pronouns, and skills is broken into framing questions. Now we'll be looking at relative pronouns. So the first set of questions that we have here is, who drew this painting? Who won the Best Singer Award last week? Where will you be going tomorrow? Which hotel did you go to? What are you preparing today? These are WH questions. So if you notice, these questions that we have just read out all start with a WH. So who, where, which, and what. In order to introduce the relative pronouns, we can use WH questions. So WH questions and how are also included when you're doing this activity. Okay, reading the same set of sentences, but with a relative pronoun. Raju is the painter who drew this painting. Kavita is the singer who won the award last week. Alsur Lake is the place we are going to tomorrow where there is boating. We went to Hotel Sujata where we ate delicious dosa. I am preparing gulab jamun, which is my favorite. Okay. As you can see, the WH questions have been used as relative pronouns in between the sentences. So it gives us details about what the person in the sentence is doing. So when you look at the first sentence, it gives us information that Raju is a painter, but with the use of the word who, we know that he is the one who drew the painting. Okay, and then if you're talking about Alsor Lake is the place where we are going tomorrow, that would give you more information about what is available in Alsor Lake, which is boating. So which is a part of the sentence which says where there is boating. So these are relative pronouns. Some reflective questions that you can use for this activity is, what is the significance of the set of words that we were using in our previous activity? That's the activity that we just did. Do you think they have a pattern? Do you think they belong to a group? What do you think are the relations between the words that we have used to the verbs in the sentence? Now, let's explore project-based learning. These are modules or project-based learning, which are for grade 4 and grade 5. We will take you through these modules, which are available for you on Teachopia. So the first project-based learning is about farming in the fields. That's the chapter. The concept that it will be exploring is rhyming words. It starts off with learning objectives like identifying rhyming words, understanding the story, writing sentences using rhyming words. And the learning outcome is going to be about participates in activities in English like role play, group discussion, debate, recites and shares poems, songs, jokes, riddles, tongue twisters, etc. Refers to dictionary to check meaning and spelling and to suggested websites for information. This is followed by the rubrics, which you can look at that they have been used. The indicators that have been used are identification of appropriate rhyming words and writing. Reading comprehension is an essential element that is included in all rubrics. Okay, so we start with a leading question. Do rhyming words have the same sounds and same meanings too? So the activity that starts off is to help the student identify or pick rhyming words from the sentences that are given, from the words that are given below. So the child will circle the words which have rhyming words. For example, you have you have dog and log, fit and sit, and similarly, you can pick out other rhyming words. Similarly, you can do that with these set of rhyming words too. we are looking at the next activity, which is finding rhyming words for the following picture words. So we have pictures given to the students and they need to find the words that rhyme with the picture. Okay, first we need to break the word, and once we break the word according to their sounds, you will notice what is the last sound and how it matches with the other word that is there in this picture. The third activity is a reading comprehension passage where you're given a short passage about Sheila and Leela, who are sisters, and followed with questions which have 4 options which help you choose which helps you choose the right answer. For example, the first question reads, Sheila and Leela were sisters who loved to play. Which word rhymes with play from the passage? So you have 4 options. So then you look at the next question. It is choose the picture for the word from the passage that rhymes with the word sing. So if you look at the pictures, you will notice that the first picture is dance, ball, ring, and dog. So ring is the word that rhymes with sing. Similarly, there are other questions also that follow. This is about the PBL for grade 4. And the PBL's teachers, which are now displayed before you, are available on Teachopia. So you have a wide variety of PBLs available. So what we are displaying here is just a sample, just to give an idea of what kind of PBLs are available. But you may feel free to use any according to your own choice. Okay, thanks for waiting. The next PBL is for grade 5. It's based on the chapter A Great Coachman on the concept prepositions. The learning objectives are to use prepositions correctly when describing a picture, use prepositions and frame sentences while playing a game. The learning outcomes are to use meaningful, grammatically correct sentences to describe and narrate incidents. After the rubrics, the first activity that we have is interactive. It shows the student a picture. The student is expected to find a few objects which are given below, and they need to identify a few objects in this picture. So you can tell them where is the mouse or where is the deer. So they can give you an answer saying the deer is in front of the tree, or the mouse is in front of the log, or they can say the hedgehog is inside the log. So there can be different ways in which the students reply using prepositions. This is a game that the children can play, which is also about prepositions. They will roll the dice and they will make a sentence based on the image where their dice falls. So if they roll their dice and it falls on number 1, it shows that there's a dog under the box. So the sentence that they can frame is, the dog is under the box. If they move on to 2, they can say, the cat is above the house. So similarly, they can make sentences for different squares as and when they pass by it. Activity 3 is looking at students applying their knowledge on prepositions. They will draw their classroom. So it expects them to have some visual representation of how their classroom looks. This is a sample picture that has been provided to help the students figure out what objects they can put around the classroom. They will write about the different objects here using the prepositions that are given in the box. So you have space. For example, They can make sentences like, the book is on the table. My books are in the cupboard. In front. The teacher is standing in front of me. Moving on to the teacher tool, the ETL teacher tool. For this module, the topic is reflection. So we will go through the 4 questions that you are required to reflect on for this module. The first one being, what is my understanding of the language learning phase reflection? Identify the places in the activities where we can find elements of reflection. How can I incorporate more elements of reflection in my activities? And lastly, you need to create. So you select a grammar topic or a value like bravery, respect towards family, nature, or select any learning outcome related to the monthly requirement and create a small activity to emphasize the element of reflection. As you can see, teachers, these questions require you to think about the activities that you have executed in your class. So to think about the activities and reflect about them to understand what it is that you have understood about using reflection in those activities. Okay. So think about the questions and you can plan your classroom transactions accordingly. These PBLs, as I mentioned earlier, are available on Teachopia. These are the QR codes for the lessons that we have spoken about. The QR codes and the project-based learning, that's the PBLs and worksheets. Along with the lesson plans. Yeah. So you have it for where there's a will, there's a way, the way to succeed, and journey to the top. That which is for grade 7, and grade 6 is there where there's a will, there's a way, and a way to succeed. That would be bringing us to the end of the module, today's module.
Teachers, so these are some of the activities we can plan for the chapters what we have for the December month. So this is all about with the module 5. So also we could see the reflection element we could bring in for the experiential learning. So now we request teachers if they have any concerns or questions to be clarified, you can put it in the chat box, or if you want, we can make sure that we'll give you an option to unmute yourself and ask them. Banu, over to you. You can pose your questions or queries in the chat box, teachers. We'll try to address here now. Or suppose if not, we can also address in the respective WhatsApp groups.
Dear teachers, if you have any queries, you can unmute yourself and you can ask now. If you have any queries, please do ask.
We have given you a chance to unmute yourself, like you can do that. You have the option to unmute.
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ನೀವು ಅನ್ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಕೇಳಿ.
Or you can raise your hand. Do you have any questions? Teachers, are you here? Raise the hand.
Manjula ma'am have responded yes ma'am. Manjula ma'am, ಏನಾದ್ರು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Do you have any queries? No questions.
Shivrajama? Sabiha? Sabiha, do you have any questions? Munazza? Or do you want any changes? Or what are the activities just now you have seen? Is it easy to implement in the classrooms? Manjula?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Manjula?
हाँ मैम तबस्सुम मैम
How was
हाँ मैम
the
मनवा
program?
नाइस मैम
How it was nice? Can you implement activities in your classrooms?
activities useful to our classroom. We can conduct in our classroom, ma'am.
Okay, do you want any changes?
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay, Manjula. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, all the participants. So make use of this program and implement what are the activities.
Ma'am, can I get the PPT of this session?
Okay, we will forward in the group.
Okay, thank you.
You are
you.
from which school, Prasanna?
Bangalore, Channapatna taluk, ma'am.
Okay, sure, we will forward.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, dear teachers. So implement this program in your classroom, or you can, according to your availability of the teaching aids, you can change according to your availability. So make use of these activities so that the students can learn easily. Thank you, dear teachers. Thank you, CWC team.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all.
Thank you.